Project number 1521-123, a cross-border union in the shadow of history, is co-funded by the European Union through the European Fund for Regional Development Fund under the Interreg V-A Romania-Bulgaria program. This is the beginning of a breathtaking journey through time and values, a story about the rich history and the origins of our identity. It is a bridge that connects Bulgaria and Romania through their joint opportunities in the area of tourism. Bulgaria. The Regional Historical Museum, Dobrich. We are in one of the exhibition halls of Regional Historical Museum in Dobrich, which present the exhibition Archaeology of Dobruja. The original artifacts reveal the history of Dobruja dating back to the distant 6th millennium before Christ until the 14th century, until the end of the Second Bulgarian Kingdom. The museum stores most of the artifacts that represent the oldest and largest prehistoric necropolis in the world, the Rankulak, which is recognized as one of the landmarks in prehistoric Europe. Its collection includes many valuable exhibits, such as world's oldest processed gold and the first writing manuscript. Perhaps it's here in the lands of Dobruja, along the Danube River and the Black Sea coast, where the world's oldest civilization was born. And today we have many valuable findings that tell the story of the culture and daily life of this ancient population that had settled in our lands. The Great Thracian necropolis near the villages of Kirgulev and Cherna also reveals the history and legacy of Dobruja. The Roman period is represented by more than 1,000 exhibits, which includes an original diploma that belonged to a Roman legionary and also a unique ivory hand, both found here in Dobruja. Here you can also discover the seal of Bulgarian Tsar Simeon that reflected the greatness of Bulgaria's first empire and its golden age. The largest ceramic center in Bulgaria, discovered near the village of Topola, is the largest in Europe. An important element in the museum's exposition is the Bulgarian Renaissance School and its unique curriculum for young students and adults. Zoldapa Fortress. This is one of the largest fortresses not only in Dobruja, but overall in these territories of the late Roman and early Byzantine empires. The area of fortress is over 300 acres and is surrounded by a wall that is divided into 18 castles with 32 towers and 4 gates. This is an extremely well-built and fortified fortress that was a center of federation in the province of Scythia. Undoubtedly, that crypts are very interesting because 2 of them are extremely close to each other and both with large dimensions. The basilica is also massive and is one of the largest studied in Bulgaria, Zaldapa Episcopal District. And this is the Episcopal Church, which is very good monument of the early Christian architecture. This is a crypt of an early Byzantine basilica from the 6th century that is also probably episcopal. The crypt represents kind of a tomb. Actually, we have two basilicas, one above the other. Both basilicas have crypts that were large and magnificent temples for its time. Additional drills discovered further historical layers, one of them related to the Thracian civilization. Furthermore, there were discovered Roman, late Roman and Thracian ceramics. The latter is being further explored and studied. The crypt that was built during the Byzantine Empire contains crosses typical for the respective historic period. Both crosses were inlaid afterwards and they were of the same type. Most probably there was a third cross that is currently missing. The earlier crypt has frescoes, some fragments were found, but unfortunately it cannot be restored. Suhodolie, lapidarium, rocky monasteries. The unique landscape characteristic of the dry valley called Suhodolie have attracted ascetic and spiritual life in the cave formations. Over the centuries, they evolved as rocky Orthodox monasteries. The dry river is one of the most important bird migration corridors in Dobruja. In addition to ornithological and trekking tourism, the region is suitable for fishing and hunting tourism due to the ponds and hunting farms. Today, the canyon of Dry River and its surroundings are a natural and archaeological landmark, but in ancient times served as the largest source of fresh water for Dobruja. Palmatis. Palmatis fortress originated in the late antiquity period. It's located in a region abounded with natural springs, strategically located in the crossroads between Odessa's Marcianopolis and Dorostorum ancient cities. The fortress walls were built in line with the unique terrain circumnavigating a total land of 220 acres. The ancient town of Balchik. Balchik is an ancient town with a history that spans over several millennia. The earliest signs of civilization originated from prehistoric times, more specifically the Neolithic era. The ancient Thracian port of Kroni was also founded here by Hellenic migrants coming from Milet that settled and established a trading colony. At the end of the 3rd century before Christ, a rare event happened. The Black Sea brought a wooden statue of the Thracian god of wine, Dionysus. The local citizens perceived this as a sign of gods and renamed the town as Dionysopolis. Temple of Mother Goddess Cybele. Balchik is also home of the best preserved temple of Cybele, the Great Mother of the Gods. It was rectangular in shape. The building has an area of 93.5 square meters. It was built during the period 280-260 before Christ. Architectural and park complex, the Palace. The palace is built terraced on the steep seafront where it meets the warm Black Sea. The former summer residence of the Queen Maria of Edinburgh combines ancient Bulgarian, Gothic and Oriental elements. Albana Resort Complex, the Perpetual Spring Valley. Albana Resort is situated in the Black Sea Bay, 35 kilometers north of Varna and 12 kilometers away from Belchik. It is located in the close proximity to the cool forests of the Baltata Reserve. However, its precious value lies in the huge sandy beaches and the crystal clear Black Sea waters. The Taka, a traditional Islamic tomb. The Takke was founded in the 16th century. Its building process continued for several decades, coinciding with the rule of Sultan Suleiman I. The current Takke consists of a well-preserved turbe, mausoleum, and the imare, canteen, which is fully restored. In the middle of Takke lies down the tomb of the Muslim sacred Ak Yazala Baba, looking east-west. Kavarna. Late Antiquity and Medieval Fortress Bezon. The coastal settlement of Bezon is located in the area of Cape Chickerman near the port of Kavarna. It was founded as an indigenous Thracian settlement in the second half of the first millennium before Christ. It was colonized by migrants from Mesembria. During the Hellenistic period, Bezon emerged as one of the most significant trading centers in this part of the Black Sea coast. During the late Antique era, 4th-6th century, the Bezon settlement relocated to the Chirakman Plateau due to its 120 meters high serving as a naturally fortified settlement. It has two preserving fortifications blocking the only access to the plateau. Cape Kaliakra. The earliest settlements date back to the 4th century before Christ, when the area was inhabited by Thracian tribe Terezi. In the 5th-6th centuries, the fortress, now called Acre Castellum or simply Cape Acre, assumed the role of the most important and strongest fortress that protected the region from invading barbarian tribes. Archaeological Reserve Yaila. The Archaeological Reserve Yaltata is located 20 kilometers away from the town of Kavarna. It's a seaside terrace that is about 1 kilometer long and between 200 and 300 meters wide. On the territory of the reserve, there are 3 necropolis built in the cliffs dating back to the 3rd, 5th century. Necropolis 1, which lies nearby, is the largest of the 3, with more than 120 burial facilities studied and documented. Its borders are not determined yet. Much more interesting and unique is the one located at the southern end of the reserve, where the terrace is already aligned with the sea. The necropolis there are built in a vertical cliff massif. Furthermore, just on this terrace were documented 101 cave dwellings which date back to the 5th millennium before Christ and were inhabited until the 11th century after that. Early Byzantine fortress was located at the northern end of the terrace in the highest part, where the cliffs are 20 meters high. The area was part of the fortification system of the Scythian Minor area. We are talking about the entire Dobruja area, not just the southern part. Similar fortifications were discovered in a number of locations around us, such as the Rusalka Resort, Cape Kaliakra, Dalboka, nested between Kavarna and Cape Kaliakra, Kavarna, Balchik, and to the south. We are coming back here. We have proof that, for example, similar fortification existed also around the Rankulak in Mangalia, Constanta. We literally have a common root with the Romanian country. The whole chronology can be traced back through the archaeological sites and artifacts found here. We can see evidence of the Greek colonization and the Roman era, Byzantine era, the Middle Ages, the Second Bulgarian Kingdom in Kaliakra. Evidence of all these historical times can be seen here. Shabla and the surroundings. The town of Shabla is located in the steppes area, whose coastline is a unique border between a zone with vertically cut coasts and long sandy beaches. An interesting landmark in the area is the lighthouse of Cape Shabla, which is also the oldest and the tallest lighthouse on the Black Sea coast. The unique microclimate is complemented by the nearby Shabla Cape and the wet area of Shabla Lake. Lakes around Shabla, Ezerets and Rankulak. Shabla Lake is a natural coastal laman separated from the sea by a wide 230 meters of sand strip. To the north, via an artificially dug channel, it is connected to Ezerets Lake. The Rankulak Lake is a 4-kilometer long lagoon. It's among the best preserved and significant wetlands in Bulgaria. In the area, there are wonderful conditions for ornithological tourism. The archaeological park, the Rankulak Lake. The complex is located on the lake's bigger island and the west coast of the lake. It is home of the largest studied prehistoric necropolis. The oldest stone architecture in Europe and the world's first processed gold were also discovered here. The Rankulak area is an invaluable archaeological treasure. The following sites have been studied by the archaeologists so far: a Neolithic settlement, a prehistoric necropolis, 1,004 tombs and burial facilities, a Bronze Era settlement, an ancient necropolis of Hellenistic and Roman times, and a medieval Old Bulgarian necropolis. Romania. National History and Archaeology Museum, Constanta. The City of Thomas. The area of Dobruja is very rich from archaeological perspective. From prehistorical times, more specifically from the Neolithic period, the culture called Hamangia has evolved over time and spread both on the territory of Romania and Bulgaria. Later, in 7th-6th centuries before Christ, the Greeks have established fortresses both on the territory of present-day Romania and on the territory of Bulgaria. After that, the Romans reigned over the territory, reaching the delta of the Danube River. Thus, both Romania and Bulgaria share a common history, especially throughout the antiquity and prehistoric periods. We are glad that we can collaborate today. We have projects with European funding. The Museum of National History and Archaeology in Constanta is the largest museum in Dobruja and among the first in the country. Its cultural heritage includes 400,000 cultural artifacts, and through this project, I think we can showcase the entire historic cultural heritage of today's Dobruja. We are proud to have exceptional exhibits. We have a treasure hall that is very interesting and includes many beautiful artifacts from the Greco-Roman antique period. Here, practically, the Romanian archaeology is proudly revealing 24 extremely interesting artifacts which were discovered on April 1st, 1962. They were all discovered at the same time as shown in the pictures in this hall. The most interesting exhibit is the snake Glycon, a fantastic snake that was a subject of an Eastern cult of about 1800 years ago during the Thomas period in Romania. During the 2nd-3rd centuries after that, the fortress of Thomas was extremely powerful, becoming the capital of the province of Little Siria, a province in the Roman Empire. Also, in this museum, there are many halls devoted to the periods during which Dobruja, the Romanian province, traveled through time. Mangalia, the Roman fortress of Calatis. The ancient Pontian and Magyar colony of Calatis continued its existence in the late antiquity. The city has been fortified since the 4th century before Christ, based on the earliest archaeological discoveries of its defense facilities. Istria. Hellenic colony Istria was founded in the middle of the 7th century before Christ, 657 before Christ. The city has had a continuous development for 1300 years, starting from the period of Hellenistic colonization to Roman Byzantine times. Roman fortress Almatum. Harshova. Late Roman fortress Carsium. The Roman and Roman-Byzantine fortress Carsium was built on an earlier Gothic fortress in the second half of the 1st century after that. At the beginning of the 2nd century after that, during the Dacian Wars, and after that 103 Emperor Trajan strengthened the fortification with stone walls. Carsium, Harshova Museum, Multicultural Center. We are in the museum in Harshova, which is over 100 years old. It was founded in the late 19th and early 20th century and has been relocated to several different places over the years. The museum was built in this place because the city is located in an ancient fortress and on a Neolithic settlement. Numerous artifacts that have been discovered were brought here and included in the exhibition. They bring the spirit of the ancient time and are evidence of the unity and continuity of civilization in Dobruja region that was common for the northern and southern Dobruja, namely the region of the present Dobruja city in Bulgaria. The temple Celia Mare, the Inn Valley. Celia Mare is protected area located eastwards of the city, upstream Danube River, towards the Ginderes commune. Its area is over 54 hectares, all part of the Danube Canal Nature Park. Thermal springs in Hersova. Topolu. Unique art museum Dino and Sevesta Vintila. Capidava Fortress. Sakidava. Capidava Fortress is located on the right rocky coast of the Danube River, halfway between Chernovoda, the ancient Exeapolis, and Hershova, the ancient Kharsium. The fortress was built during the reign of Emperor Trajan as part of the strategy of strengthening of the Roman frontiers. Exeapolis Museum, Chernovoda. Adamklesi. Tropeon Traiani Fortress. The ring-fenced fortress wall of the late antique Tropeon Traiani is about 1200 meters long. Its trace is in line with the terrain and encloses the periphery of a low plateau terrace rising to an average of 10 meters above the surrounding area. The fortified area amounts to 9 hectares, doubling the city boundaries from the Roman age of Principal. Adamclesi, Museum Tropeum Traiani. The Adamclesi Archaeological Museum is designed as a giant lapidarium, including inscriptions and mausoleum frescoes, architectural elements, friezes, cornices and columns. Particularly impressive are the gigantic statues of warriors and metaphors with battle scenes. They represent the Emperor Trajan's magnificent pantheon of Roman military glory and foster admiration and respect for the defeated barbarian tribes. Triumphal Monument Tropeum Traiani. Triumphal Monument Tropeum Traiani was built on the orders of Emperor Trajan in commemorial of the famous battle, in honor of the victory and in memory of the fallen Roman wars. The monument was designed by the famous architect Apollodor of Damascus. It was built between 106th and 109th year. This magnificent facility in the shape of a huge altar was preserved over the centuries and was restored in 1977. It is important to appreciate, preserve and transmit the cultural and historical heritage and experience to draw our path forward with pride and patriotism. Project number 1521123, a cross-border union in the shadow of history, is co-funded by the European Union through the European Fund for Regional Development Fund under the Interreg V-A Romania-Bulgaria program.